You're watching Herald Now. It is time to talk business thanks to our partners 2 Degrees. And in breaking news this morning, Sky TV has bought 3 from Warner Brothers Discovery for $1. Garth Bray is with BusinessDesk and joins us now. Good morning, Garth.
Good morning, Ryan.
So this is a major move for Sky TV, which is publicly listed, right?
Sure, and that's why this just hit the NZX in the last sort of 20 minutes or so, along with an investor presentation that sort of runs through some of their rationalisation for why they're paying a sort of a token price to pick up the assets that previously had been running and had seen some quite substantial losses, I think about 130 million or something in 2023, obviously. That, as everybody would know, put a lot of people out of work and really changed the media landscape as well. They're talking about the need to access greater audience, and they're looking as well at the broadcast video on demand aspect, which is that kind of that 3Now app that people might watch stuff on sometimes, and how that positions them to kind of break into that market. I guess if people aren't paying for a Sky sub, they're probably familiar with Sky Open, which used to run as Prime and sort of does, you know,
this is their free-to-air version.
Yeah, delayed access to an All Blacks test with a heap of ads stuffed in the middle of it and all that kind of thing. And it's possibly not as well patronised as it could be. And this is obviously an opportunity to try and pick up what seems to be working a lot better and make it run.
Right, so basically saying potentially goodbye to Sky Open, or not as much of a focus on that, and this is their free-to-air window.
Yeah, and talking about reaching a pretty solid free cash flow position by sort of 2028, I guess Sky is a company that does have reasonable reserves, and so it's got the ability to build a bit of a runway. You've seen Television New Zealand talking about how it's got a plan out to 2030, I think, to increasingly move its revenue into a digital space. So the battle is really on now for the kind of stuff that we're doing right here, which is things that you see on your screen through the internet, rather than necessarily through a very complicated broadcast structure that involves satellites and the whatnot.
And interesting that we're sort of seeing the consolidation of some of these big media companies now.
Presumably, this is no problem for the for competition. So I mean, they're talking about this as from August 1, so it's a pretty sudden
straight
pickup.
Through.
So yeah.
And what about the price? $1.
Well, look, it's I'm sure what they're actually doing is signing on to accept a whole lot of debt and sort out a lot of stuff in the background. In any trade, you've got to have an exchange of value, and so it's $1 as a token price.
Yeah. So they come on board, Sky does, and they will presumably do a whole bunch of cost cutting, as they normally do. There'll be some back office functions at 3 that Sky's already doing. All that sort of stuff will happen.
You'd imagine that kind of thing. I mean, we're driving in there, but they're saying that this would result in a sustainable EBITDA uplift of at least $10 million from financial year 2028. So they are looking quite some years out before they're really seeing the gains of this. But I guess if you're thinking in a bigger sense that sports rights play a big part in how people make money out of broadcasting, and if you've got a free-to-air option that you can offer.
Cut TVNZ out.
That's the one.
See you later.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. All right, Garth, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Garth Bray with your breaking news this morning, thanks to our partners at 2 Degrees.